Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Let's just take a sip of water first. When I did my video a couple weeks ago talking about how I had left YouTube for a month and then came back talking about how I didn't know what kind of videos I wanted to make, if I didn't know what kind of content I want to put out there. One thing I definitely know for a fact is I want to talk about things that are important to me. One of those things that I've already made a video on is feminism. That one's down below if you want to check it out. But another thing that's important to me is veganism and the planet and everything that goes along with veganism. So today I wanted to answer the top 5 most frequently asked questions that I get in real life and on YouTube about veganism. And I think that most people who are vegan may relate when it comes to the questions that I get asked. So the first question that I get asked all the time is, what do you eat? People do genuinely ask me what I eat as a vegan, and sometimes I think that they may be kind of like poking fun at me or like being a little bit like condescending or something. But great thing about being vegan is there's so many options out there. Pretty much anything that you like that contains animal products can be made vegan, and that's what's so great about now is that veganism is becoming more normal and there's so many cool products on the market that you can try that taste just like the things that you love but don't harm the planet, don't hurt any animals. It's great. So there's a mindfulness to how you eat as a vegan, and I think that that's what lacks in, you know, the standard American diet. Is there's just like a mindlessness to your consumption and not just food. It just blows my mind that people can just blindly put things into their mouths and not consider any of the factors that may have contributed to getting there. So yes, I eat a lot of things. My favorite food on the planet Earth is rice, and that is vegan. Thank Jesus. I eat lots of fruits and vegetables. I eat lots of rice and beans. I eat pasta, potatoes, legumes. I eat everything. I love food. The second question I get all the time, and it's sort of connected to the first question, is how do you get protein? Do you get enough protein? And I'm not exactly sure where this kind of fascination with protein has come in, but for some reason, every time I mention protein, especially to a parent, someone who like has kids, they're like, do you have enough protein? And I almost want to be like, do you have enough protein? People for some reason have this idea that they only get protein from meat or dairy, but that's not at all the case. There's pretty much protein in everything that I eat. It's just smaller, and that's why as a vegan you're often told like, oh, eat larger portions. Personally, I'm not concerned with protein. I do not work out high intensity, and if I did, I would, like most people who work out high intensity who aren't vegan, take protein powder, protein bars, and there are thousands of vegan options. Vega is one that is very popular, but there's other brands as well that are really good. I know that the brand that makes the hemp hearts has a protein powder now, and it's delicious, so it's less sweet than the Vega. But anyways, lots of protein options, and like I said, it's in so many things, like whole grains, beans, legumes. It's in everything. So I'm fine with protein. Thanks very much for asking though. That's what I want to say. And then the third thing I get asked a lot about is supplementing and taking supplements. I went through a phase about, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, where I had quite awful eczema. So I went to a naturopath and I was probably taking like 8 different supplements. It was kind of stupid. Speaking of eczema though, I have another really bad flare-up happening right now on my hands, and it is so awful, but I refuse to take 8 supplements, basically, is the story. It's not sustainable for a long period of time, especially for someone who like is a student. Like, I'm not going to spend $500 on supplements every month. That's just not going to happen. Sorry. I do take supplements though, and they are supplements that are recommended for vegans, but I more generally look at what's recommended for women, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm getting the same, if not more, nutrients from my diet as someone is in a standard American diet. It's just different, that's all. But I take a just standard generic multivitamin for women, and I also take borage oil, which is something that I've taken on and off for a while, and it's really helps your skin. It's really good for eczema. I also sometimes take an iron supplement, and I sometimes take a magnesium citrate supplement. A lot of people supplement for B12. I personally do not, because I eat nutritional yeast every single day, at least once, and at least a tablespoon. So I love nutritional yeast. It's really easy for me to put it in my diet because, like I said, I love it. I like the taste of it. It's like not a hassle to eat. Even if you are not vegan though, I would really recommend that you take supplements because from a standard American diet, there are a lot of nutrients that you are not getting. So that's just something to be aware of. Just because I'm vegan doesn't mean that I have to be more conscious of that supplementing. It's just a different type of supplementing. So yeah, I do take supplements. Do I think it's absolutely necessary? Well, I've been told by a physician that taking a multivitamin is very important if you want to have kids. So I plan on having kids one day, so I take a multivitamin. The next one is a good one. It's a goodie. Do I get bothered by people eating meat and dairy products in front of me? And the answer to that is quite simply no, I don't. I don't really care what you eat, to be honest. The only thing that I'm sometimes slightly bothered by, but I don't really ever do anything about this, other than like select times or with select people, is I feel, again, like I said before, there's like this mindless consumption of food that I find just like shocking and like slightly terrifying, that people just eat without knowing where it comes from or without knowing the impact that it's had on the environment. People who know what they're eating, people who know the impact it has and still choose to eat it, I can't say anything against that. I'd rather you be educated and knowledgeable and make a decision than be completely ignorant and not know what's going on and still eat it. That's kind of how I feel about it. But at the same time, like I said before, I don't care. Like, it's not up to me. I came to this place of being vegan so authentically and so naturally that me telling you and pushing you and pressuring you and making you feel shitty about yourself because of what you're eating, it's just not going to get you to the same place. And it creates that really negative relationship between people who eat meat and people who don't. And I don't understand why that needs to exist. People who are vegetarian, people who are vegan are trying to better the world or trying to lower the impact that they have on the world, and are also trying to show their compassion for other beings. It's just this like really simple belief that those beings don't deserve to be killed for our consumption, that don't need to be killed for our consumption. I think that's like super core simple to what veganism is. So at the end of the day, that's part of my belief system, and if you don't have the same one, does that mean like that I don't like you or will judge you for what you eat? No way. That's your choice. Like, I'm no one to judge, because guess what? For all my life, I was eating meat too. Like, I mean, dairy and eggs I didn't because I was allergic, but you know what I mean? Yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't judge people who eat it. I don't get upset when people eat it in front of me. It's so normal. It's just the way people eat. So, and again, it's not my place to judge. If I'm perfect, then sure, I'll judge you, but I'm not perfect, so I'm not going to judge nobody. The last question I'm going to answer is what/who convinced you to go vegan? And this is a good question, because I think a lot of people who are like on the fence want to be persuaded. Like, they want someone to tell them, like, this is what you should do, this is why you should do it, and this is solid evidence and facts to back up my claims. For me, it was sort of this gradual shift my whole life. That wasn't, the perceived end of it was not veganism necessarily. I found out I had a lot of allergies growing up. Again, going back to my eczema, that was a big part of it. I've also had a lot of bowel issues. Let's be honest here, Emily has a messed up stomach. It's like a well-known fact. I gradually took a lot of things out of my diet in order to kind of restore my system, I guess. And it's just so happens to be that a lot of those things that I had to take out are animal products. And I think that says something also about those things that we're consuming, that when I go to the naturopath or when I go to the doctor or when you go talk to someone about allergies, they tell you like the key allergens, and most of them are animal products, followed by like, I mean, obviously the first one's peanuts, but you know, most of them are animal products. So it was that kind of gradual shift with like no perceived conclusion. And then I watched these videos on YouTube, and all of a sudden it was this sudden, like, I don't want to be contributing to this anymore. I don't want to be eating meat. This is actually gross. that I feel the need to eat these products, we have come farther as a society also where we don't need to consume those products, more importantly. I watched Forks Over Knives and Cowspiracy, which are both on Netflix, and I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I don't mean, when I say YouTube videos, I don't mean the ones that talked about how awful the animal industry was and how awful it is for the environment. I actually just watched like what I eat in the day videos, and those were what inspired me because the food looked delicious. And as I said in the beginning of the video, I love food. Food is so important to me. So seeing these girls and guys eating delicious food that looked like my kind of food, like food that I crave, the food that I feel most satisfied by, the food that gives me the least amount of discomfort after eating it, I was like, hell yeah, this is totally for me. And then after a couple of months of eating that way, did I go further into it and realize the impact that contributing to those industries has on the environment. So that's sort of how. It wasn't one particular person or one particular thing. I actually didn't know anyone who was vegan when I went vegan personally. I just knew people on the internet. And then when I moved back to Vancouver and I started working at the job I have, a lot of my friends at that job are vegan, and it's awesome to have people to talk about, but the vast majority of the people in my life, I would say like 10 to 1, are meat eaters, and that's totally fine with me. I don't really care what you put in your body. I'm more concerned about like you as a person. If you want to have a positive impact on someone, if you have strong beliefs about something and you feel like people aren't listening to you, and you feel like, how do they not see what I see when it comes to, in this case, let's talk about veganism. How do they not see how terrible this industry is? How do they not see, you know, the pain they're causing? I think the best way to show someone what you see is just to lead by example. And I have actually found that people have changed their diets just because of the way I eat, just because of the way I am. You can't shout it at them. That's totally the opposite way people take on these positive traits. It's the opposite way that people want to be told about something or taught something. You lead by example, you live a happy, healthy life, and people want to be happy and healthy, so they do the same. It's really simple. So for me, I have mentioned this so many times, but I am not a preachy person when it comes to my diet at all. If people have questions, totally will answer them. If they're genuinely curious, totally answer them. If they want to make fun of it, cool, great. If this is something that you're even remotely curious about, even if just like a tiny bit of you is like, hey, that's something that I would be interested in trying just for a day, start there. And if it doesn't work for you, cool. I mean, whatever. A lot of people feel that they have to consume certain products, or especially if you live at home still with your parents, it's hard to stray from what everyone else is eating, and I totally respect that. But, you know, whenever you go out to a restaurant, try ordering vegan, or try ordering vegetarian, or try ordering without milk. And if you don't want to, and you're just like curious about hearing people talk about this, cool, that's awesome too. I mean, you're welcome to listen to me speak. So yeah, that is everything I have to talk about in this video. I hope I answered some of your questions that you might have had. And if I didn't, you can always leave them down below. We can do a part 2 maybe one day, who knows. And yeah, I'll see you all very soon. Bye.